Hello and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode 416 at scavengerlife.com.
So this week, I think, we were busy doing a lot of stuff. And I realized, we were talking about it, how I think we have really kind of built a good team of people to help us.
Yeah.
Which is, it's happened over time. It didn't happen overnight at all.
No.
But I feel like I remember we did an overnight trip. We were trying to find furniture for this new rental we have, and we were driving to like an outlet store and this other place. And we were just like, wow, right now we have someone who's taking photos for us.
Yep.
For eBay. We have two people who are cleaning our rentals.
Yep.
And we have someone else that's working at the apartment we're trying to fix up, like cleaning and polishing wood and stuff.
Yep. It was all happening on that same day.
Yeah.
It was funny. And I'm like texting with all of them while we're driving,
And I remember, if you listen to old podcasts, I think that there were times when I was against hiring people, or I was just like, why would you want to hire people?
Well, we know why, because we had basically like a singular thing we were doing. We were just doing eBay.
Yeah, I think the thinking was like, why would we want to complicate our life?
Right.
The beauty of eBay is that we do all the work, and then we don't have anyone depending on us for work, or we don't have to watch over somebody.
Once you start adding all these other things that have to happen at the same time, you can't do them all.
Right.
But,
it's interesting though. I think it happened over time. And we did it the way that made sense for us. I know that a lot of people, because I think what I was kind of going against back in the early days when we would talk about this is, people have this dream of I'll sell on eBay, but I really don't want to do it. I want to hire someone so I can just have the fun treasure hunting, dump stuff on the ground, and I've hired someone and then they just do everything for me.
Right.
Because I don't like to list and take pictures. I don't want to ship. I don't want to do any of that stuff. And I think that's what we were fighting against.
Right. That's a little different than what we do now.
Right. That's I think in my mind, a fantasy thing.
You always have to be a part of it. I think with any business, we watch that show, Marcus Lemonis, The Prophet, right? I love that guy. I think he's great. Because look, he always says, he sees these owners of these businesses who never go out on the floor of their production, whatever. They never talk to their workers. And you're just like, you have no idea what's going on. So that's, to me, that's what it is with eBay, where right now I have someone photographing and listing, but I still do all the packing and shipping. I still look at every single listing and make sure it's titled correctly and priced correctly. Yeah. And we buy everything, obviously.
Two things real quick. I laugh that you mentioned we watched that show. It is true. It's funny that we would seriously watch kind of a reality TV show
about businesses
because but I think that just shows that there is a dearth of conversations around running a small business.
Yes.
You can buy books, but they're all kind of real, oftentimes very big picture, kind of how to run a small business. And then, you can take workshops, but they feel kind of scammy, and there's stuff you can buy on. But it just, there are so few places you can go. And this guy, Marcus, is, it's actually interesting how he goes into a small business and people process product, and
profit. I always say profit. People process and product.
I think that might be why people actually hear our podcast too, and why people go on YouTube to hear from other people. Because
right. They're actually running.
If you're someone if you're an adult who works for someone else and you want to start a business, where do you find that info?
Right. Well, look, I know it's hilarious to talk about a reality TV show, but there's so much, honestly, on that show that I'm just like, how would you ever see the inside workings of someone's business? And he cuts right to the chase where he talks about their numbers.
They talk about numbers. And,
I mean, they're like, give me your spreadsheets.
And they talk about costs.
I mean, when do you ever get to see that? Especially on businesses that are making like sometimes a couple $1 million.
And compared to a lot of reality TV shows, it's pretty low key.
It's also like a little bit dramatic. But I just say that because I understand the want for people like us who are like doing lots of different businesses to just not have any contact. Be like, just go do that job.
Right.
I don't want to think about it. In a way, you are hiring someone for that.
Right.
But you still have to just like keep an eye on it.
Right. So I think the point is.
What's the point here?
Is that we?
I got us off on a side tangent.
Sidetrack there. Okay. So the point is that instead of thinking like we would just hire out all the work, which seems to be not the way, that seems to be the road to failure.
Right.
We started finding people who would basically become extensions of what we already do.
Right.
And, I see like the one girl that helps us with eBay.
Yeah.
She's basically a total extension of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're walking her through the process, and you hand her things that we would normally do.
Right.
But she does them.
Yep.
But we're still a part of that.
Right.
Process. And, and so I was thinking real quick, how do we do this? I remember, so we learned about hiring people from other scavengers.
Yeah.
Who would come on a forum, and they kind of helped explain to us how they had done it. Now, some people talk about like going on Craigslist and putting ads and hiring people off of Craigslist.
Right.
What worked for us was hiring people who we kind of knew
through other people
in our community.
Yeah.
Right. Where we kind of would have our ears out, and when we would hear someone say, "I have a friend
who would be good at that,"
then we would approach them and talk to them.
Right.
And it's
totally worked out so far.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing was important to find people that were specifically looking for flexible work.
It couldn't be set hours every single day. Like the people that work with us have a very flexible, independent schedule where you're like, okay, I don't have anything this day, but on these days I can do something.
Right. I mean, we give them fairly steady work, but it's also good where they'll tell us some weeks like, I can't work because I have to do this thing. And we're like, great,
fine.
So it's a benefit to them.
That we're both flexible, basically. My eBay person, helps out her mom a lot with medical stuff. And she's always like, we have an appointment far away. And I'm like, that's fine. Just tell me when you're back,
Yep.
So it works.
And then communication's a big thing too, is that we're just really good where we're texting. We talk to them in person.
Yep.
It's all about...
It's constant communication. Like, I have tried to work it into everyone that I work with that they need to text me when they arrive. They need to text me when they leave. They need to, like, with my cleaners, I'm like, you need to text me when you're on the way because I need to know that you are actually coming.
Right.
There was one time last week, one of our cleaners was super busy and she just, like, I wasn't home to see that she had picked up the linens. And so I was panicking a little bit because it was getting late in the afternoon. And I was like, I haven't heard from her. And she texted me being like, oh, we're done already. Like everything's cool. But, you're kind of like, I need to know that everything is happening. There are moments like that for sure.
Right. But for the most part, communication.
Yeah.
So we're still a part of the process, so we always know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the other important thing for us is that we pay people more than what the normal kind of pay would be in our area.
Yeah.
And that's good because it means people, I think, like to work for us because they're making more
money than they would be. Right. Yeah.
For this kind of job.
Yep.
So I think that's important too. Sometimes I would see people, they would say, yeah, I'm going to hire someone on Craigslist and I'll just pay him, $8 an hour and, it'd be great. And I'm just like, yeah, we just learned over everything we do that if we try and cram people down on the price of what we'll pay them, they have a very limited interest in being consistent, you know.
Which is hard when you're running small businesses because labor is expensive,
right.
you know, but
I think it always pays off.
Yeah.
To pay people.
Because they're reliable.
Yeah.
They show up.
Right. So, like when we were gone overnight, so we were gone for 2 days.
Yeah.
The people we'd hired were doing a lot of work for us.
Yeah. It was funny how that happened. It was like all this stuff. And then there was one thing where we bought a TV for the new apartment, for the new Airbnb. And for some reason, I didn't realize it was going to get shipped so fast. And it got here on the night we left. And I'm like, there's possibly a big expensive TV sitting outside my house right now. Right. So I texted this person who, she helps me with eBay, but she also helps me do other random assorted things. And I was like, before you do this other thing tomorrow, will you just go over there and put the TV inside? Make sure it's like... And the great thing was, she was like, well, I'll just go there right now because I'm not doing it.
And bill us for it, you know? And
yeah, I was like, just charge me for your time. But it would really make me feel better because we were gone overnight that this thing is indoors. It was great. Yep. I'm like, what a great feeling to be like, can you just check on this? No problem. Done.
Yep.
Peace of mind, you know?
Yep. So it's a good thing, but I think like everything we do, it always takes us time to make things happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's been now 2 or 3 years now when we first started hiring people to help us.
It's scary to start with because like to think that someone's going to mess something up or, you know, not do it right or
can we afford it? You know,
yeah. Can we afford it? We got to pay them all the time. Right. And when you are trying to do more than just your own little job, when you're trying to do like 5 jobs by yourself, it's like unsustainable.
Right. I mean, there's no way we could do what we're doing now if we didn't have people help us.
We couldn't.
You know,
we couldn't have a second rental.
Right. Like we were cleaning the houses ourselves. You know, we were doing all the eBay ourselves. We just couldn't do it. And so, we had to do it.
Yeah.
So the next goal is to find someone to help us pack eBay.
Yeah. I think I know who it's going to be. Yeah. I just need to figure out when she's ready.
Right. And if she wants to do it and work it out.
So that goes along with everything we talk about where we need to do a full-on inventory. Because we can talk about this in a little bit, but there were a couple times this week where I was like, I cannot find this item. It is misplaced, and I don't know. You know, I figured it out eventually.
We found them.
We found them, but it was through a lot of like sleuthing of like, could it be this weird possibility?
Right.
You know.
So I mean that is the challenge, though, is that you know it's not just easy. Like, oh yeah, just hire someone and she'll pack everything. We have to think through our inventory, how they'll find stuff. You know. It's going to be interesting, you know.
But it will help.
But I know we can do it. It's just going to happen in our own time.
Yeah.
And we'll just have to get our ducks in a row.
And I think she can, if we hire her, you know, part-time, half a week or whatever, she's going to help me do the inventory. I mean, we're going to be like, this is how it gets done.
Yeah.
You and I do this thing. Okay, I'm busy now, but you know what to do. You know?
And I mean, we've talked about it, you know, just like I'll grab a bin and just start doing it. But I mean, now we're getting sidetracked too.
Anyway,
the big thing is like starting it, and all new items from here on out need to start being in the inventory because the more we list the old way,
the worse it gets.
The bigger it gets. Yeah. Anyway, so I just wanted to bring that up just in case anyone out there has been selling on eBay for a while and has been thinking about hiring people. I think it is totally possible, but just trust your own instincts. You know, it's easy to say, oh, just hire somebody, but just trust your own instincts about the right kind of person and how treat them the way you would want to be treated.
Pay them what you would want to be paid in that position. I know that's not easy, but
all those things are really important, you know.
Yeah.
And I think some people make business too complicated, and you know, there's no one size fits all kind of business stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about specifically
eBay.
Okay, so eBay has changed the orders page. I think it's what it's called. So
it's redesigned.
Right. When you're on your seller hub and you click orders, I think they had tried to push this 6 months ago or something, and I just opted out. Like, give me the old one. They've just kind of like, it's the same info in different places, and they've kind of cleaned it up.
There's new info though. Like, I noticed if something's sold, this is actually good. If something's sold through promoted listings, it actually says it there.
Really?
Like, I don't know if you want to click on that while we're sitting here so you see it. It's a green writing, and it was like sold through promoted listings.
I see that.
And you're like, finally, just give me that info, you know?
Yeah, that is cool.
I mean, I don't want to pay that extra fee, but it's good to know, hey, it's working.
And tell me if this is something new. I didn't understand it, but eBay made some announcement that, and I see it here, there's like an order number for every item.
There was an order number before. This is just a different type of number. I don't know what it means.
Right. I mean, I guess it would just mean so that way every item can get tracked or something.
I have no idea. I don't know what that number is, but there was an order number before. And it wasn't an order number like an eBay SKU. It was like, this is your 20,000th order.
Right.
21,756.
Right.
That's what the number meant.
Yeah. Sorry.
The other thing I noticed too was a lot of times if I sell something that does have a lot number, like I sell whatever, something that I had given a custom number to that's in a bin that has numbers, it won't let me add that as a note later. I used to be able to, when I was picking things, I would be like, okay, this is, lot 001 in the whatever bin. It doesn't let me do that anymore. So you have to have done it ahead of time, which makes sense, and I should probably do that. But it's in the listing. Like, it'll be like lot 110,
So is that going to complicate things when we want to go through and build an inventory?
Yeah.
A system?
So what's going to need to happen is I need to go into active and like put the custom numbers in the listing in the background.
Got it. So,
before it sells.
So on the actual public
SKU.
So
no, it's not public.
No, not
it's
public.
The back end. It's like in your active listings.
Gotcha.
It's basically a custom SKU.
Right.
There's two things. There's your custom SKU for people who use that, or there's a note. There's like just a personal note you can leave yourself. Like on a bunch of clothes, I leave a note that says this is on Poshmark.
Right.
Haven't sold anything on Poshmark in like 6 months, so who cares? But so I know to end it on Poshmark. But the problem is if I haven't said that, already, I can't say it afterwards for like information. I don't know why they took that away. It's really annoying.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm like, don't take stuff like that away. Just like move it.
But anyway, if you're new to eBay, this is very common.
Yes.
That eBay just is kind of a slowly changing organism.
Yeah.
And these things happen where like they'll just like change a page and
it's just done.
You're like,
you can't go back.
So let's just, and you can gripe about it, but for the most part, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
we just have to...
I can do the same things I can do before. Right. I print my invoices and my labels off that, so
it's fine.
Yeah.
eBay, we got notices today that eBay was flagging any item we had in our store that said Persian. So
anything about Iran.
So like
I have some old like postage stamp first day covers that have people from Iran, and I guess I need to take them down because they are like being flagged, like from the 70s or something.
Right. And why is that? Well, because we are now in this kind of a growing conflict with Iran, and I guess
I
don't know if like the government told eBay like make sure. Because there's like some ban, right? Of like Iranian products, and
well, what's crazy is you're like, I have an antique rug that I'm calling a Persian rug. It's probably like 100 years old, and I can't sell it on. I mean, I changed the wording, but I was getting flagged on and the reason I was seeing those flags is because we traveled yesterday, the day before, and I had to change my handling time. And it was like flagging them in the like whatever the bulk editor thing. Although I have business policies, but I had to it wouldn't let me change the handling time on those because it kept flagging them. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, so it's not a big deal because we don't have that many.
No, I know, but anyone that has that type of
kind of Persian rug is kind of, I guess specifically.
I guess it's kind of generic.
It's kind of a generic word like Kleenex, but it's like Kleenex, it's also a very specific word. So it's just kind of interesting when those things kind of like filter through.
You're like, what am I doing wrong here?
Yeah.
Nothing.
So a seller, a Mr. Vintage State Liquidation, he sent us a message because he buys on OfferUp. It's
one of these Let Go. It's just an app.
Right.
It's like Craigslist, but it's just an app.
Yeah. And so what's interesting is he says what he does is he buys stuff off of OfferUp.
Yeah, to sell.
He says it's cheap and then resells it.
Yeah, of course. He sources there.
But he was showing me, because we were talking about, like, how can some of these sites have such cheap ways of
So he's saying he buys stuff on OfferUp and has it shipped to him, not just his local area. Because OfferUp a few months ago said, hey, you can sell this stuff all over the country.
And so you can print a shipping label off of OfferUp. And he showed how cheap people were sending him stuff, and then he would then re-put it on eBay and sell it,
and he has to pay a lot of shipping.
And then he showed how much his eBay label was, and his point is OfferUp is subsidizing.
They must be subsidizing
because it's so
cheap, just like Poshmark. Right. Poshmark is for sure subsidizing it with VC venture capital.
To be clear, we don't actually know that.
But I have a pretty good guess. How else are they doing it?
It seems like when you're able to ship, a heavy pair of shoes across the country
for $5,
yeah,
that's impossible any other place.
Yeah. So it's just interesting how that works, And my only thinking is like a lot of these sites are just trying to either get popular enough where they get bought out by a bigger company and get a big payday, or I don't know if they're big enough to ever go public and then
well, look, it's just like Lyft and Uber. Like, the prices when they first get into a city are so cheap. You're like, how did I just take a ride across the city for $3? But now, like, you took a ride the other day in a city. It was expensive. Yeah. You went 2 miles. It was like $14. Yeah. I'm like, dude, that's like the old school taxiway. You're like,
it was expensive. I was surprised too. I mean, I needed to get to a place, so I paid it. But definitely those days are over for Uber and a Lyft where, you could take a ride cheap and they're giving out free rides. I mean, now it seems like you're just paying
what it... okay, to be fair, you're paying what it should cost.
Sure.
But it's not cheap. You're like, you were suckered into being addicted to rideshare apps.
I think so. It's just an interesting point about this OfferUp. Just when people say, these other sites are going to kill eBay. I'm like, well, but are these models sustainable? And when they have to be a sustainable site.
I mean, that's the thing about like OfferUp and Let Go. First of all, people take garbage photos. And like, I don't know if this is true for OfferUp, but Let Go like automatically generates a title. And you're like, that's not what this item is. Like they'll take a picture of an item and it'll be like white refrigerator. And you're like, I'm pretty sure that's not a refrigerator. And the person didn't like change it. So, it's stuff like that where you're like... Right. And, there's no way to do there's no customer service and stuff like that.
Look,
Craigslist doesn't
competition's good. Just, we have to be honest about all aspects of every site. Okay, gut reaction to the week.
Slow.
So if you watch or if you hear the radio, that NPR show, a Marketplace, it's like a businessy show.
It's like this. Like the music when it's slow. They're like, the market sucked today.
And when it's good, it's like da 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 da.
Yeah, I'm in the money.
So this is definitely wah wah. So this is the second week where we have not made our goal of $1,000 a week.
Right, we try to make $1,000 a week.
To cover, all of our like regular expenses. So this week we made $887.14.
I was selling like those $18 items all day long. I'm like, oh.
So this is the interesting thing. Our average price sold was $25.
Yeah.
So not even like the $30 bread and butter that we always talk about. That was the thing.
Everybody needs to remember, number one, summer is slow.
Yeah.
We need to remember ourselves. People are on vacation. It's beautiful outside. The weather is gorgeous.
I mean, when this happens, and other people are talking about being slow for them too, but not everybody's. Some people have great weeks. You know, I have to remember, for the decade we've been selling on eBay, we've never had a slow time that stayed slow forever. You know, and we've been through the summers before when it's slow, but everyone starts...
It just sucks. That's it. Yeah. You're just like, this sucks.
And the good news is for us is that we've been around long enough. We've evolved. You know, we invested in this other business where we have these rentals, and the summertime
is our peak season.
Our peaks.
So it's a nice back and forth.
And then when the wintertime, our rentals are low. That's when eBay is the best for us.
Because it's holidays.
So that's why we don't really freak out about it. But, you know, it's always concerning. You're just like, why isn't anyone buying? And why are people just buying the cheapest items we have?
The cheapest items.
You know, on a forum, people, you know, when things get slow, everyone starts coming up with like,
why is it slow?
You need to relist. You know, it's like the...
Of course.
It's like the good till canceled, and this is the way to do it.
You have no control. You're like, I have no control over this.
You know, and people start talking about, what's your sell-through rate and your return on investment? And when people start talking about that, I'm just always, you know, if you're a traditional company like Coca-Cola, they have things they can pull. They have like... Number one, they sell like exclusive items. Like no one else sells Coke, only them. And they can advertise, so they can generate demand, you know? So that's the things that they can pull to get more sales. I mean, what do
we do?
And what do those of us that are, you know, true scavengers, we're going out like crabs and like finding things that nobody wants and trying to resell those. Like what levers can we pull to spur sales? I guess you can choose different kind of items to sell.
You can list more. Look, it's like
you can. Yeah, you can bring the prices down on things. I mean,
sometimes that doesn't even work. I mean, look, I send like 40 offers a day.
Right.
And you're like, one person took my offer every 2 days.
I mean, I think if your answer is, well, you know, you need to buy better inventory. And I think then it starts getting in more into like, you become like an Amazon kind of person that sells on Amazon, where you're like buying wholesale or you're buying private label stuff and you're, you know, but then you're more of a traditional retailer where you're competing against like Walmart and, you know, so I don't know. I guess I always see it as just like eBay for us as a scavenger is that we've built this, it's a machine, and we just put stuff into
a garbage machine.
And stuff is so cheap for us, and we just throw it in there, and we wait on the other side, and money comes out.
And little tiny half pennies come out this week.
But I mean, you know, like that's like... And then, and
that is what it is.
And its machine is kind of a black box. If you're like a vintagey kind of, you know, like we could put our store on half price and maybe we might sell a little bit more, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. We talk about this forever. And the only thing that just makes me feel good is that these slow times, they never last.
Yeah.
You know,
it just goes up and down.
So we'll see.
Just when you're in the middle of them, you feel helpless. Mm-hmm. Even though you are like, I mean, I think it's brilliant that eBay allows us to send offers now and people can counteroffer them. So you're like, yep, I would take that. Done. It feels like a sense of control, but it's pretty minimal, I think.
Yeah.
Bit of control.
Okay, things as we sold, the most exciting thing was a $4 pillow.
Oh my God, this freaking pillow.
Which I think is
I
think is a metaphor for the week we had. So this is like a real edge case for the model of how
long tail
we sell on eBay. Is that this pillow is 6 years old?
I thought this item would never sell. I was like, this will never. I need to get rid. Every time I go through the storage of where it's located, I'm like, why do I still have this?
And we've had it for so long that we actually had brought the price down a long time ago, hoping it would sell faster. Didn't work.
work.
And so when it sold, I was just like, Like, this is...
I couldn't believe it.
And I see on the thing, it was a promoted item. So
You're like, you made nothing on this.
So that would be the rare time we probably didn't.
$4 pillow.
I mean, we probably got it for a quarter, but...
or less.
Yeah, it is funny. And then just everything else we sold was just generic.
Just bread and butter, just random. Okay. I mean, is there anything else interesting to mention?
I'm not going to mention anything else.
Like, it's not. It's like thing. A T-shirt.
And so we sold some a wooden hangers and
wooden hangers.
2 like cocktail, drink glasses.
Oh, those were cute. Yeah, I like those. But
you sold
they're cheap.
One of your parts to our old
coffee maker that's right.
For $12.
$12. But hey, $12. It was a little piece of plastic.
Yeah, so it's all good. Okay, scavenge of the week. Nothing.
Do we scavenge? We went to IKEA, but that was like...
That's not scavenging.
True retail.
That's just purely buying
apartment stuff.
For our apartment, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, that the challenge when we bring a new a rental onto the market is we basically have to buy a whole house load
of stuff,
of goods.
Now, we've been collecting stuff and buying furniture and buying stuff over time, but you don't get everything. You're like, oh, we need this.
Right. I mean, we've now done the thing where we brought everything we had bought that was piled up on our back building and on our porch, and we brought it over there.
Yeah.
And we laid it out, and we're like, okay, we still need all this stuff. So.
Look, that's why a lot of Airbnbs like have nothing in them. We always say this when we have to go to IKEA and buy like 4 chairs that cost X amount.
It's like I'm in a bedroom with like a bed,
and that's it,
and like a little table.
You're like,
and there's nothing else.
No kidding.
Yeah. Okay, customer issues. We got a chargeback
on PayPal
from someone we already refunded the money to.
Yep.
On eBay.
You're like, dude, I already refunded you. But I don't think he was happy because I didn't refund him all his shipping because I disputed it. I was like, yep, I said this was as is, so untested.
When you called PayPal, don't they see like, you gave them their money back?
Well, what PayPal said was he did this through his credit card company. He didn't dispute like the through PayPal, like, hey, I didn't get, because there's proof in PayPal, because when I went in and gave proof of the refund, PayPal brought it up. They were like, oh, is this the refund you gave him? I was like, yes.
So he paid for it on his credit card through PayPal. So is PayPal the person we talk to, or do we talk to the credit card?
I can't talk to the credit card. There's like no way to do it. What PayPal said was, you gave us the information. It just takes a really long time to dispute it with the credit card company. I think it's going to take about a month. Basically, they were like, there's nothing more you can do.
Okay.
I think PayPal will give me my money back.
And the worst that happens is he keeps the money we already gave him plus the money we kept behind.
I have no idea. Okay. I don't know what's going to happen. Okay. Any chargeback where I've proven that they didn't send the item back or I already refunded them. I don't know if I've ever had a chargeback like that. PayPal's like, yep, we refunded you. And if they didn't, I call them and I'm like, this is a problem. And they're like, we're going to give you your money back. And they credit me that money.
Right. They eat it.
Yeah, they're like, the last time that happened, it was 30. I remember it was actually, I was the buyer. And I was like, I want to return this, and they won't let me. And I'm unhappy with the quality of this item, and they denied my return. She's like, I'm going to let her keep her money, and I'm going to refund you.
Yeah.
Because it was like something guarantee, like buyer guarantee or whatever.
Okay, we also got a negative.
What was the negative for?
So it was for a person that got the item. Oh. They didn't like the item.
He opened a return and immediately left a negative.
We accepted the return and he gave us a negative.
Right. So
and we're still waiting for him to return the item.
So he said I sent the wrong item. He even showed me a photo and I was like, that's actually not the wrong item.
Right.
It's actually exactly what I said I was going to send you.
Right.
I don't know, you're crazy. So, so he opened a return. He's in Canada. I sent him, I accepted the return and was like, I can't buy postage, whatever. It's global shipping program. And then he left a negative feedback. And eBay's like, well, if he doesn't ship it back in X amount of time, you can get it closed and the feedback will be removed. Yeah. So it's just annoying.
It happens. Yeah.
Whatever. Like, even if we have to keep the negative feedback, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's not nice, but, we always say, as long as like a negatives and a neutrals aren't a regular thing where we would be making the same, it's a mistake again and again, or people are reacting to us the same way again and again. But if it's like every so often, and it's true, every year we have 1 or 2 negatives or neutrals. Like right now we have 2 negatives, out of whatever, 800. And
you're just like, well,
it just happens.
We're grumpy.
They drop off.
And a lot of times it's people who I've already refunded. You're like, I gave you your money back. You know? I worked with you and you're still grumpy.
I always feel for a person that sells who finds it a big deal because, we all do the best we can and we try and offer people returns and they're still grumpy about it,
There's not much you can do.
Okay, things we learned in the forum. This is a very interesting topic. I forgot her name. She's in California. Okay. She went to Hobby Lobby and noticed that there were a lot of vintage items for sale that were just like the things that we all sell on eBay.
All made in China.
Yep. And she was like, I had no idea that these stores, and it's true for like Michael's.
Yep.
I mean, even like Target, that Magnolia
or like
company,
Home Goods. Yeah.
It's like shabby chic and a vintage is totally mainstream now.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that many of us sell
look like that stuff. It's not the same because our stuff is the real stuff.
Right. I think it surprised her.
Yeah. It surprises me too when I go into a place like Target and I see like Magnolia or whatever Target brand and I'm like, oh my God, that totally looks mid-century modern.
Right.
Or whatever.
Oh, it's like a piece of old barnwood that has like words on it or something.
But it was all made in China.
Yep.
It's not real.
And I think she was saying it in a way that was concerning. Like, oh no, like...
People can just buy this stuff in the box stores.
Why would people buy from me if they can buy it there? And the answer is that's always been true for us on eBay, where there are cycles, and the thing for us is we always try and stay ahead of those cycles.
Well, also your audience and your buyers hopefully are the ones who want the real stuff. There are times where we go into thrift stores and we're like, oh, look at this vintage jacket, and it's Old Navy, and you're like, oh, they're totally like copying my style, my 1980s Woolrich style, But there are people who are like, no, I want to pay more because I want the real thing. I don't want the crappy knockoff.
I mean, I think that would be nice, but I think its reality is all that it means is stop buying that stuff that's now made in China.
Right. Sure.
We're never going to compete with them and find the thing that people want that hasn't caught into the mainstream yet. And that's just the way it is,
Yep.
That's a thing when I see a person who sells on eBay and they get really mad and they say, I used to sell so much by selling old razors on eBay. I was making so much money, and now everyone's coming and they're selling them, and now these other companies, and now I'm not making any money.
Look, I've seen that before too in our inventory.
Right. None of us can get comfortable with
you're like, too bad.
Finding I'm gonna find this stuff forever.
There's so many things like that. So many clothing things like Pendleton. We used to find Pendleton wool, gorgeous 1950s shirts all the time. Cannot find them. I have not found one in years. And Pendleton is remaking them, so you can just buy a brand new gorgeous one that doesn't have holes in it in your size from Pendleton. So shut up. You know, you just, and it sucks. You're like, oh, that was such a great seller, and now it's gone.
Yeah.
So sell something else. You know?
So I guess when we talk about like what control we have as scavengers to like get people to buy more, and one of those things is don't get comfortable.
Yeah, you can't.
You know, don't think, oh, I can keep buying the same old thing and it'll sell. And that's why, as scavengers, we're always trying to find
just something
different,
else.
Weird, cool stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's not always like, what's the next hot vintage thing? It's just sort of because you can't know. You know, you're like, oh, you know, look, distressed rugs were the biggest thing for a while, and we were selling them for a lot of money. And now I cannot sell them to save my life because they make that stuff at West Elm. They make it at IKEA.
Yep.
So, okay, someone might want to...
Overstock.com.
Yeah, you're just like, you're finding the same thing, but it's fake, and it's much cheaper.
Yeah.
So that market is like dried up, and you got to sell your stuff for cheaper. Plus, eBay's like putting an embargo on Persian rugs. You're like, oh, great.
You just call it something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Vintage wool rug.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought there was a very interesting thing because,
very interesting topic, yes.
We're always going around when we're out in the world and going through stores and just seeing
what's trendy. Like, what did they grab the, trend from and put it in stores?
Yeah. But there'll always be something new.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, let's go to the questions that people sent in this week.
Hi, Jay and Ryan. Heather here in Virginia. I am calling because, Jay, you mentioned about Cutco a couple weeks ago, and we didn't get back to it on the podcast this week, but perhaps it was talked about in the forum anyway. I drive for a living, so I don't get on the forum as much as I would like, but I still keep up with the podcasts. So the great thing about Cutco, if nobody mentioned it yet, is that it has a lifetime guarantee. And so if your Cutco breaks at any point, you just send it off. Yes, I used to sell it about 20 years ago. And I definitely was a big part of that MLM. And actually that experience helped me a lot in life. Selling knives door to door is not for the weary or timid. But yeah, so the great thing is they'll sharpen them for you for a small fee. I think it's $4 or $5. But if your knife breaks, you send it off, you get a brand new one. So Cutco, with that lifetime guarantee, people are willing to buy vintage ones because they know that should it wear out, they can get a brand new one. Like I said, maybe that was talked about on the forum, maybe not, but now y'all know. Keep your eye out, listeners, for Cutco. Jay and Ryan. Hey, Ryan, today's your birthday. Happy birthday. Happy 40th. Congratulations on the new building, guys. I can't wait to hear more about it. Appreciate everything you do.
Thank you for the birthday wishes.
Welcome to another Virginian.
Yes.
Yeah, I did not know that Cutco was an MLM or was a
pyramid scheme. Let's just say what it is.
I will say it's interesting because Cutco seems like pretty good quality.
Right.
Most of those kind of brands, especially maybe it's an old MLM.
I think it's the older ones are like
marketing.
The older ones I feel like had better quality because they had to, and now the new ones don't.
You see, I don't even keep up with them now, but I know on Facebook everyone's complaining about them. Just all these brands. It's just cheap, it's just cheap, soap and incense and
makeup and clothes.
But the prices are twice as much, right. And there's no purpose. If they had to actually sell in stores, no one would buy them at that price. And that's the whole point of an MLM, is that they're not making money by selling to normal people. They're getting you to get your downline.
Your downline. So, yeah, I have heard that about Cutco. I've also heard that people get Vero'd on Cutco, where you have to take your stuff down. I've never had that problem. I have just a couple of them.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know it was an MLM until much later. So, I don't know. You can feel bad about that. I've sold Tupperware before, and that's an MLM. So,
I mean, you didn't sell Tupperware as a
Tupperware lady. Sorry.
Okay.
Just vintage Tupperware tumblers, that are cool colors or whatever. But
anyway, that's cool.
Hi, I just wondered if you ever thought about doing a topic on family heirlooms, selling family heirlooms, because I have some stuff I'd like to sell, but they're family, and I was wondering how you come to grips with that, about selling your family things. So thank you very much. Have a good week. Bye.
We're probably not the right people to ask because we're probably not going to give you the answer you're trying to find. But, number one, when you want to hear a family heirloom, I think of just something that's important to you and your family. So number one, I would think if it's special, why do you want to sell it? If it's really special to you, then the idea is you would keep it and keep passing it on through the family. But if you're interested in selling it, to me, then it's not really an heirloom or something that's probably special to you.
It's just something that was in your family.
And then who cares? It's just a thing. And, we see that all the time when we go to auctions where they're selling off someone's estate, you see all this really personal stuff.
Right.
That just you would think would be really important. But obviously that family has decided that, those photo books or these items that people had gotten when they traveled around the world are not valuable to them. And honestly, a lot of times it's not valuable to anybody. It's just kind of, the detritus of our lives, I
mean, it's exactly what you're saying. If you have a, in quotes, family heirloom that you're like, I love this thing. It reminds me of my grandma. It's special. I want to keep it. I want to give it to my kids and the grandkids, whatever. Don't sell it. But if you're like, what is this? Right. I don't know what it is. It looks valuable. Right. I think someone else might want it. I don't, whatever, then sell it.
I think here's what I imagine this person's asking is like their mom has died.
Right.
And she's in charge of cleaning out the house. This is a very common thing. Yes. And, her mom's stuff, her mom's whole life is just in this house. Yeah. And it feels weird. Like, don't you need to save all of this stuff? Yeah. Like, this is my mom's life.
Right.
But you really have to think about it. It's just stuff. It's just stuff she collected. Right. If there's stuff that means something to you personally, or if you think it's your kids, keep it. But if not, it's just stuff. I see too many people start filling up storage containers or like their house or their attic with their
old sofa,
their dead relative stuff because how can I get rid of this thing, So, I don't know.
I'll tell you how you can get rid of it. You can sell it to someone and make money and be happy.
Right.
And use your money to do something you want to do.
People's moms would want them to sell their stuff that they don't want and to buy something for yourself. You know? So, I don't know. It's tough. I think what people are really dealing with is a loss of someone they love, not the thing itself.
Right. Okay, that's it for the podcast this week. You can check out our blog at scavengerlife.com for the links we discussed and to join the conversation on the forum. I have rebooted our other podcast, Shampoo and Booze, with my sister Ashley, where we talk about Airbnb and short-term rentals.
And it'd be great if people want to talk about that stuff, to do it over on the Shampoo and Booze.
Yeah, we don't have a forum over there. We have a blog with blog comments, but my sister's not active on Scavenger Life, so anyone talking about Airbnb and, that kind of stuff should do it over on Shampoo and Booze so she can see it.
Because that way, too, if new people start popping up, they'll see there's a conversation happening on the actual content rather than people talking about it on the Scavenger Life.
Some other random
where
blog.
Nobody knows that exists.
Yes. Okay, you can call and leave a question on our comment voicemail line. The phone number is 540-407-8486. Or you can email us an audio file from your phone. Our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com. We post an episode every Monday morning. On Wednesday, we post a What Sells video, currently being brought to you by Steven Schultz. You can support us through our Patreon account, which is on our sidebar for as little as $5 a month. You can subscribe to us through iTunes or YouTube for free, so you always get the latest episode. You can download our archive of 5 years worth of podcasts, so you can put it on your device and listen to it offline. That is on our sidebar. It says download all. We are ending this podcast in 3, 2, 1. Bye.